Now, but we have a roll call, please.
Mayor Mechanico?
Here.
Mr. Campbell?
Here.
Mrs. King?
Here.
Mr. O'Brien?
Here.
Mr. Schuler?
Here.
Mr. Borbeck?
Here.
Thank you. Please read the Open Public Meetings Act statement.
Pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meeting Act, notice of this meeting was included in a list of meetings sent to the Post-Star and Asbury Park Press newspapers, posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building and on the borough website.
Thank you. I need a motion to approve the agenda with the additions.
I'll motion.
We have a second.
I'll second.
Any questions on the agenda? Roll call, Janine.
Mr. Campion?
Yes.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Mr. Borbeck?
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion passes.
Thank you. I need a motion to approve the minutes from March 23rd, 2015.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Do we have any questions? Roll call.
Mr. Campion?
Abstain.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Schuler?
Abstain.
Mr. Borbeck?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. No presentation at this time. Don't have any scheduled public hearing at this time, so we'll move right to the public comment section. So you may speak on any agenda item, just step forward and give your name and address if you would like to speak on an agenda item. Seeing no hand, I need a motion to close it.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have a few discussion items. The first would be the budget review schedule. Now, we have to decide whether we need a special meeting or we just want to review this at the regular session. Anyone have a preference? Tom?
Well, I mean, we have several budgets presented in front of us. I don't know that we're really all in agreement on them yet.
I don't know.
I don't believe we are. So, I mean, we either need to discuss it tonight and try to get through the differences that we have, or I think we need a special meeting. I mean, I think that's simple. Because, yeah, I don't think we're all on the same page right now. And we need time to talk about it.
I think we should schedule another budget workshop.
I mean, that works for me. I can do a budget workshop. Because then we can, rather than drag this whole meeting out another hour and a half potentially, talking about those items, we can, specifically go through them.
So we pick a date between now and the next schedule. We do that?
How soon can we plan this meeting?
Well, before,
What's our-
I would say before the 27th.
I certainly agree with that.
So just to be clear to everybody, I mean, we had a budget workshop where we went through the budget. We agreed on the majority of items. There's 5 or 6 sticking points, I think, that we still have that we need to go through. And, I think it would be best served if we did that,
I would agree with
maybe
that.
not behind closed doors in front of everybody so you can see what we're talking about and what we think is important. So if we do that at a special meeting, that's fine.
Janine, do you have
Well,
a calendar?
If you
Some
want,
open dates
is
there.
a Monday's an okay day for everyone? You want to do it a week from today?
If we could do it a week from today, that'd be fantastic for me.
Yeah, that works for me.
That'll give me a little time to get caught up on some of the things I've missed the last week or so and be prepared for next Monday, so I would appreciate that very much.
So I think everybody agrees a week from today.
So that would be April 20th.
April 20th.
Is there any other meetings in here next Monday?
No.
Okay.
7? Too early? Is that good?
7.
7.
7?
Is that good for
Sounds
the
good.
people who would attend?
No, we'll make it.
Very good.
All right, so we agree on April 20th, 7 p.m. for the special meeting on the budget. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Chris. We do have some possible ordinance introductions. One would be the recreation fee. Did everybody have a chance to look at that?
Yeah.
Do we have any comments or
Seems reasonable.
reasonable?
It seems reasonable. Where is that relative to last year's?
Talk louder, please.
I'm sorry.
Where is that relative to last year? Is it consistent?
The most significant change is actually in paragraph B, the non-resident fee that would allow for up to a 50% additional charge for non-residents. And that's primarily utilized in the summer camp fee. Currently, I believe the non-resident fee was in the 145 range, and what has been proposed through committee chairman and recreation director is to make it a 165 for non-residents. And again, as the ordinance would indicate, this provides the structure within which rates could be set, and then by resolution, there would be specific rates for each individual recreation activity.
Councilman Tinkin was involved in developing this?
Yes.
This is his recommendation?
It is.
I have no further questions.
Yes.
What is the starting age of the recreation program?
I think it's kindergarten.
Yeah, I believe it's K through primarily secondary.
Okay, now, is that children that are going to go into kindergarten, or is that children that are already in
You
kindergarten?
know, without having the registration form in front of me, I couldn't say. I believe there is an age limit of at least 6.
5?
I believe it's actually 6, but if you'd like me, I can double
No,
check
that's
that.
okay. You
I
can tell
think
me
it's
later.
children going into kindergarten, or it has been in the past. I
Okay.
know that for a fact, because both my kids went there previous to their first year in kindergarten.
Okay.
And there's no change with that.
Okay. So I'm pretty sure that that's how it was in the past.
And then my other concern on this is just one thing, and that is the bus trips. There was a lot of tickets that were not sold, correct?
Yeah, and again, this follows the structure that we have in place. Let's see, we had bus trips last year, actually, the year before last. I don't believe last year we had bus trips, again, because we had not had great success in filling the bus.
So this doesn't mean that it's going to be a
That's
bus trip.
correct.
So this is just tentative.
I mean, this only allows the possibility of a bus trip, but doesn't mean that we will have a
That's
bus trip.
correct.
Okay.
All right, anything else? I believe Councilman Timpkin drew up this, and I don't think anyone up here has it.
No.
I think, yeah, I mean,
No
one more thing, just
objection.
the recreation program, just to sort of reiterate this idea, it doesn't pull any money from the regular budget, right? It's funded with these fees.
That's correct. The only portion of the recreation program that is budget funded is the salary for the recreation director.
Who
All
works
the other-
beyond just the summer program.
That's correct.
Okay.
All the other recreation programs are funded through the recreation activity fees.
And I assume that this fee schedule has proven sufficient to sustain that?
It does. That's one of the reasons that this is being adjusted, particularly with the non-resident rate. But the goal is that overall the recreation program breaks even. Most of the activities are very close to that, some a little bit on the black side, some on the red side, but this...
The net's on black.
Yes, the overall program runs in the black.
Sounds good.
Sounds good to me.
Mr. McLean, can we introduce this at this point, or should we wait for the ordinance introduction?
Well, you can introduce it. I think you want to wait till next time, make sure that Mr. Tinkin is completely on board with it.
Okay. I thought
And go with that one,
Maybe I
unless there's a
misunderstood.
time issue. If there's no time issue on this, no, then I think you should probably wait till he's here, to make sure.
So we'll carry this till the Monday, April 26th meeting. Thank you. Also,
There is just
it does-
there is a copy of this in the back if anybody would like to see the fee schedule or has any questions about it.
Thank you. There is a need to establish a deputy tax collector position. This would need a ordinance to assign this position as deputy tax utility collector. There's no salary attached to this at this time, so you'd have to put this in the salary wage ordinance as well. The need for this is, Jay?
Mayor, this was the subject of at least one executive session previously, and it was the consensus to move forward and establish this position. As I think the council is aware, about a year and a half ago, the office was restructured with a part-time CFO, tax collector, and since that time, our full-time individual that performs the day-to-day duties has received the certification, so this is a step in that direction to provide, first of all, a formal appointment to the deputy position, and subsequently there will be a salary attached to it.
So this also, we would carry this forward to
Introduce it next time.
26th?
Yep.
Thank you. Anyone have any question or comment on that? Okay. Good. We'll move forward. Council reports. First, I would like to say Mr. Dunleavy, President of Spring Lake Heights Little League, requested that pass on an invitation to the mayor and council about Little League opening day festivities, which is April 18th. There'll be a parade at 9 a.m. And opening ceremony approximately at 9:30 a.m. at Lair Road Park. That's April 18th, so he extends the invitation to the council. Anyone would like to be there. All right, Councilwoman King, Public Safety. Have anything to tell us?
Yes. I have 2 letters here that the chief gave to me. One is from a Jay Zahner. He wrote this to the chief to commend Sergeant Edward Gunnell and Patrolman Travis Ventimiglia for their actions on Monday, January 19th. And he said that the 2 officers conducted themselves with competent professionalism, all while maintaining a friendly and reassuring demeanor. The manner in which they handled the situation was a compliment to your department, and he thanks them wholeheartedly for everything that they did. The other letter is from Shirley Spade, who is associated with Wall United Methodist Church, thanking the police department for their assistance during the Lenten service during Easter. I don't know exactly what went on there. Do you?
They typically ask for some presents because they're open late, but the churches has services later than they typically do. So we're just a presence there every so often when we drive through.
Okay.
And I believe Sergeant Canal stopped in just to make contact and let them know we're available if needed.
Okay, thank you. So she sent a thank you in regards to that. Other than that, I don't have anything. What do we have? Okay. The reconstruction of the Ocean Road Railroad crossing by the New Jersey Transit is scheduled to begin on April the 29th, and it is anticipated the crossing will remain closed to vehicular traffic until May the 11th. Jay and I had a discussion about this just the other day. This completion date, it could possibly change a little, or?
Well, initially, the transit had notified us that they were going to be closing both Ocean Road and Warren Avenue at the same time. They have thought better of that and are moving ahead with just the one at this time. So based on that, this schedule may be compressed a little bit.
Oh, okay.
But it is also weather dependent, and they built in some smudge. But that is a replacement of the tracks, complete replacement and reconstruction of the vehicle crossing, including tracks and the platform that's there.
Thanks, Jay.
Has this information been passed on to our police and fire and EMS so they're aware?
Yes,
It's a long trip to get around there if you forget.
yes.
Very good.
And there will be, New Jersey Department of Transportation will be posting signs as we get closer to this rising of the detour. Obviously, traffic will have to be rerouted either to Warren or up to Shore Road.
Are we going to use our call system when it starts?
We will.
Yeah, 'cause
Thank you. Legislation and grants, Councilman Borbeck.
Just one item. We're going to have some public hearings on a community block grant applications that we're going to submit over the summer on April 27th and May 11th at those council meetings. And the public can give input on what they'd like to see us apply for.
Councilman Schuler, Public Works, Buildings and Grounds.
Yeah, pothole repairs and drainage improvements are underway in the borough. April 27th, at the council meeting, Joe May, our borough engineer, will make a presentation on the planned reconstruction and repaving of Crossley Road, Norman Terrace, and Jeanette Court. Also, employment applications are being accepted for summer DPW laborers.
Jim, I have a question. I'm big on potholes. You know the type of material you guys use?
Beg pardon?
The type of asphalt or material you use?
No,
I'm just curious. I don't know why, I just feel like, oh, okay. Thank you. That's okay. I'm sure Joe will fill us in on it.
yeah, I'll find out and get back to you.
That's good. Good.
Okay.
Fill us in on.
Potholes are important, guys.
The roads took a beating this winter.
Yeah, they did. Councilman Timpkins absent, but he's a chair of Parks and Recreation. I'll read this. He says employment applications are being accepted for the summer camp counselors. And also, Borough Engineer Joe May will finalize plans for the 2015 tree preservation program, which will include the Grove area at Alair Road Park and the field behind Borough Hall. That would be Councilman Timpkins' report. Councilman O'Brien, Finance Chair.
I have two things. One, as previously discussed, we have a special meeting next Monday, the 20th, at 7 p.m.
What's that about, Tom?
It's about the budget. And two, the second thing is that the auditor has completed the on-site audit work, and the delivery of the audit report is expected this week.
Thank you. Chair of Utilities, Councilman Champion.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A couple notes that I have. The first one is that residents may have noticed some slight discoloration in water earlier this morning. There's some work going on at the SMUA plant that's supposed to last about 2 weeks, I believe. So they'll have some equipment shut down, which may affect how our water moves, so you might notice a little bit of discoloration. I don't think we expect it to last very long. I just want people to be aware of it. With discolored water, we also have our semi-annual hydrant flushing that's going to start April 20th. It'll go on for about 2 weeks. Be aware again, discoloration in water. For those who aren't aware, the purpose of the hydrant flushing is to stir up all that bad stuff and get it out of the system, to get rid of the sediment that settles and move some water through. So the intent is to stir stuff up and get it out of the system so it doesn't end up in your faucet. And we have scheduled, I'm not sure when it's going to happen, but in the near future we have the elevated tank inspection that's going to happen. So we should see a report on that. Hopefully everything will be clean and green.
Yeah, we've authorized that work. We don't expect it to be scheduled until June, so we'll have the results thereafter.
Very good. That's all I have.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. The elevated tank?
The elevated tank is getting an internal inspection. You're going to put a little robotic camera in there. It's going to swim through the tank and take some pictures of the inside to make sure that's holding up.
Very good. Thank you.
My wife would like to comment to you about the discolored water.
Okay. Thank you. We have
Can you
some
take a message from him?
reports and notices and correspondence. We have the police department monthly report, the monthly revenue report. We have a detailed report from the environmental commission, the activities. I don't know if Jack, you'd like to expand on any of that or?
It's pretty self-explanatory. It's part of our statutory obligations. I forget the NJSA number, it's cited in there, that we submit an annual report to keep the governing body aware of the commission's activities, and that in turn is used when you're budgeting. It also should be taken into account when you're doing things like this tree preservation program, and that's something the Environmental Commission not only is not aware of, but we have not been contacted on, and that Joe May is doing. And, the Environmental Commission is aware of various wildlife habitat issues of some potentially endangered species that he needs to be aware of. So I think there needs to be better coordination. So I would appreciate it if you and Mr. Delaney could let Mr. May know, and then maybe in May he can come to the Environmental Commission meeting.
Maybe.
And, yeah. And we can all discuss it so that we're not left out of the loop and that somebody doesn't make a mistake that DEP comes after us for later on.
Okay, Jay, we will let you up. All right.
If I
Thank
may,
you.
Mr. Mayor, I want to elaborate on number 7 on the back of that.
Yes, go.
The energy audit, I know it's been a
Yes.
slow-going process, and I know that we had questions on that. There's been a lot of data that they had to compile in our office to make that application go forward to the state. It included ripping through a lot of utility bills, breaking them out by individual properties for all the different utilities, and collecting an inventory of all the different equipment and the structures and all that. So it's been very time-consuming with a lot going on, but my understanding is in the very near future, that should be ready for submittal. I would think probably by maybe June, maybe, if not May.
I would expect it for that.
Okay, I knew we were very close on that. I know Mr. May has put a lot of time in with his other duties, but it was, collecting the information was the hardest part.
And that's something I want to thank Councilman Campion for resurrecting. That was a project that we took on in 2007, 2008, and we had pulled all those prices. And we submitted the paperwork, and, you know, there's things happen, there's turnovers, and the word filtered back to us that, oh, don't worry, the audit was done, but then we discovered that only a very tiny portion of the audit actually had been done. So Councilman Campion has been instrumental in reviving that, and that's a very important project, because that will look at our energy usage by the different government buildings. There will be some changes suggested. There will be money-saving work that will come out of that. And, you know, the Environmental Commission several years ago had wanted to look at solar energy. And that's something that I think that once this audit is done, we could certainly revive that and start looking at that again.
Sure. For the members of the audience who aren't familiar, this is a program through the Board of Public Utilities where they come out and look at all our municipally owned properties and tell us where we're losing energy, where we can save energy and ultimately save money. They compile a list of recommendations, and once we have that report, they tell us where we can find grants and free money to accomplish that, so we can return a savings for the utilities that we're paying for, either in lighting, heating, loss of energy through insulation, windows, those kind of things.
Okay,
Thank you.
Ken? Thank you, Ken. Thank you, Chris. We have a couple letters. I think there's self-explanatory. We have the FEMA revised flood insurance rate map, flood insurance study, and I believe, Mr. Delaney, if anyone's interested in that, you have copies for that?
We have access to the revised maps.
Okay, so if any residents is interested, they can stop in and get copies of it. Or am I wrong about that?
No, anyone can stop it.
Okay, thank you. There's no ordinance introduction at this time. Perhaps at the next meeting we'll have some. Resolutions, we'll move to our resolutions. First one is the resolution R 2015-62, just authorizing a tax lien redemption payment.
I'm sorry, Mayor. Did you want to mention the two that we're adding to the list of?
Oh, yes, thank you. I'll do that at the end.
Okay.
I can do that. It'll be resolution 2015-70 and resolution 2015-71. Everyone have it?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, Tom. So we have a motion for 2015-62,
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
and do we have any questions? Roll call.
Mr. Campion?
Yes.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Mr. Warbeck?
Yes.
Motion passed. Motion passed.
Thank you. Resolution R 2015-63, authorizing refund of overpaid taxes. Need a motion and a second.
Make that motion.
I'll second.
Any question? Roll call, please.
Mr. Campion?
Yes.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Mr. Warbeck?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Resolution R 2015-64, authorizing refund of overpaid or canceled taxes. Need a motion and a second.
Make that motion.
I'll second.
Any questions? Roll call.
Mr. Campion?
Yes.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Mr. Warbeck?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Resolution R 2015-65, approving the use of the community center for Devon Court condominium and Manasquan youth football.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any questions? Roll call.
Mr. Campion?
Yes.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Mr. Bordeaux?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Resolution R 2015-66, authorizing mosquito extermination commission.
Make that motion.
I'll second it.
Do we have any questions?
Just one, go ahead. You go first.
Well, they say that they're going to apply pesticides in areas that are found to have significantly high mosquito population. Do we know where that is?
Generally, it's down at Polly Pond there.
Oh, okay.
And,
Rick Pond.
and Red Pond.
Okay.
I thought it was my backyard.
That's it.
How many, do we know how many times they did this last year?
I'm not aware that it's been done at all.
Okay.
The aerial, there are areas that, as have been mentioned, where they do apply pesticides, but not by air.
Okay.
Anything else? Roll call, Skil?
Mr. Campion?
Yes.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Mr. Bordeaux?
Yes.
Motion
Thank you.
passes.
Thank you. Resolution R 2015-67, supporting, recognizing, honoring law enforcement officers.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
I would just like to read one thing here, because I think it's important.
And we should read the whole thing.
Okay, I will read it. Thank you, Chris. Resolution of the Borough Council supporting, recognizing, honoring service of law enforcement officers. Whereas recent events throughout our nation have demonstrated reckless disregard for the lives and safety of law enforcement officers by many, and whereas from combating terror and staking out criminals to patrolling our highways, law enforcement officers maintain stability in our communities, resulting in a more secure nation. And whereas law enforcement officers in this state and throughout the nation are routinely called upon to serve and protect their fellow citizens by responding to horrendous events and acting heroically to save lives of others. And whereas it is incumbent upon public officials and law-abiding public to proactively support our law enforcement officers who regularly face threats of violence and danger and routinely put their lives in jeopardy to defend others, potentially resulting in injury, disability, or even death in an effort to keep our neighborhoods safe, enforce the rule of law, protect our property, and to respond to times of crisis. Now therefore be resolved by the Borough Council of the Borough of Spring Lake Heights in the County of Monmouth, State of New Jersey, declare their support and solidarity with the men and women who serve as law enforcement officers for their distinctive service and dedicated efforts, earning our highest respect and deepest gratitude, which must be recognized and honored for their selfless and heroic service and invaluable contributions to upholding justice, enforcing the rule of law, protecting the innocent of the County of Monmouth, the State of New Jersey, and in the nation. Be it further resolved that the clerk forward a copy of this resolution to the police chief in the Borough of Spring Lake Heights. Roll call.
So you actually have,
Do we have a motion?
Yeah.
Is there a motion to second?
Yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
Mr. Campion?
I wish I could vote more than once, yes.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Mr. Bordeaux?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Resolution R 2015-68, authorizing the sale of surplus items through Gov.
Deals.
Thank you. Okay. Motion and second?
Make that motion.
Can I just ask one question?
Yes, go ahead.
What do we do with the money that we get when we sell these trucks?
We put it into, it obviously is deposited into the borough's accounts. It is identified as MRNA, miscellaneous revenue not anticipated. So we'll see the results of that in next year's surplus account.
Okay, thank you.
We hope it's a lot.
Thank
We
you.
got a lot of trucks.
You see him?
Yeah. A lot of old trucks.
And, I'm sorry, who sets the prices? We
We have the ability to set a minimum, but in reality, based on the age, the respective ages of these vehicles, there will be an online auction, and frankly, we'll be happy to get a little more than scrap value.
Okay, oh, that's good. Anything worse on it?
In lots of cases, places buy these for parts, right?
That's correct. And if you're interested, not that we're pitching it, but if you're interested, check out govdeals.com. It's become a very common way for disposal of public vehicles and equipment. This is our first opportunity to use this, but we'll report on the results at the conclusion of the respective auctions.
I checked it out, I'm waiting to see our vehicles on there.
It's Uncle Sam's version of eBay.
Exactly.
Do we have any idea on the length of time it takes to,
Our plan is to do two of the, what I would call easiest vehicles, to kind of get our feet wet, to make sure that the count that we set up works properly. But I expect that within the next 45 days, we'll have all of the auctions completed.
I see this is under state contract on here, so I assume it's state sanctioned to be on contract. Has anybody around us used this, and do you know what their returns were on it?
You know, I don't know in this area. I have experience using it, and it really varies based on the age
How
of
do
the
they
vehicle.
make their money? What are their fees?
In most cases, there's a premium added to it.
So it's just a small percentage on the sale that ultimately the buyer's paying for?
There's actually a sliding scale under the state contract that we would provide a small percentage.
But
Similar to like
are we paying to list it, and if it doesn't sell, we still incur cost, or is it only if it sells, you incur cost?
It depends again on the value of the vehicle.
Just curious.
So in most cases.
So based on these, no.
Yes, yeah. There is generally a very small registration fee, but typically it's covered by the bids.
Anything else? Roll call, Ms. Gillis.
Mr. Campion?
Yes.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Schuler?
yes?
Mr. Borbeck?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Resolution R 2015-69, approving the payment claims on April 8, 2015 bill list.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Do we have any questions on the bill? Roll call.
Mr. Campion?
Yes.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Mr. Borbeck?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. We have Resolution R 2015-69. This is a resolution of the Borough Council confirming the appointment of Ms. 70. Yeah, what did I say?
69.
I'm sorry, thank you, 70. Appointing Ms. Janine Gillis as our Borough Clerk. I believe it's important, so we'll go ahead and read it. Whereas New Jersey SA 48, semicolon 9-133 provides for every municipality there shall be a municipal clerk appointed by the governing body for a 3-year term, and no person shall be appointed, reappointed as municipal clerk unless that person holds a registered municipal clerk certificate. Whereas the borough clerk position is presently, and the mayor has nominated Janine Gillis, who holds the required certification for the appointment to this position. Now therefore be resolved by the Borough Council of Borough Spring Heights and County of Monmouth, State of New Jersey, as follows. The nomination of Janine Gillis for appointment to serve as Borough Clerk effective April 13, 2015 is hereby confirmed for a term of 3 years, which shall expire April 12, 2018. Borough Clerk shall devote such time as necessary to perform the required statutory duties that should be compensated at an annual rate of $10,000. Need a motion and a second.
I'll
I'll
make
make
a
that
motion.
motion.
I'll second it.
Any
That's
questions?
Saturday.
Roll call.
Mr. Campion?
Yes.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Mr. Borbeck?
Yes.
Motion passes. And thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you, Janine. Resolution R 2015-71. Resolution of the Borough Council confirming the appointment of Mr. Joseph Delaney as Deputy Borough Clerk. This is important, so I'll read this as well. Whereas Section 2-7, I didn't know what that was. Point. So, the Borough's Spring Heights Code provides for the appointment of Deputy Borough Clerk for a term of 1 year commencing on January 1 or such later date until December 31st of the year appointed, until a successor shall have been appointed. And whereas the mayor has nominated Mr. Joseph Delaney Jr. to serve as Deputy Borough Clerk, now therefore be resolved by the Borough Council of the Borough of Spring Lake Heights in the County of Monmouth, State of New Jersey as follows. The appointment of Mr. Joseph J. Delaney Jr. as Deputy Borough Clerk is hereby confirmed for a term ending December 31st of this year until a successor shall be appointed. The Borough Deputy Clerk shall serve without additional compensation. The Borough Clerk is directed to forward a copy of this resolution to the appointment. Need a motion and a second.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any questions? Roll call.
Mr. Campion?
Yes.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Mr. Borbeck?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. This point of the meeting, we have the public comment section where you may speak on any item you like. Just step forward, give your name and address.
Kathleen Crippen, 564 Atlantic Avenue. On behalf of the Environmental Commission, I would like to invite you all to our annual Earth Day cleanup. It will be Saturday, April 25th from 10 to 2 in Black Creek Park. And if you're not familiar with that, you go down 6th Avenue past Atlantic, and there's a very nice little park that runs along Black Creek behind the recycling center back there. It's kind of a little hidden gem that people aren't aware of. Unfortunately, the people who are aware of it tend to litter a lot during the year. So every year we go in and clean it out, and every year it fills back up again. But we have a good time, we pick everything up, we clean all the brush up. We provide a hot dog and hamburger, barbecue, and refreshments for the volunteers who come out. So, you know, come out. We have a lot of interesting wildlife this year. We have a pair of nesting hawks. I know Mr. Vorback is interested in birds. We have hawks, we have ospreys. It's a fun day just to come out and see, and everybody gets dirty and gets wet if it's warm enough, and we have a good time, and we haul a lot of trash, and it's a good thing to do for the environment. So hope to see you all there. Thank you.
Thank you, Kat. Anyone else like to speak?
You got
Just give your name and address.
My name is Nate Novak, 907 Keith Avenue. I'm here representing the Friendly Heights Little League Board, and I want to invite you guys all there on Saturday. I think it's going to be a great event. And then I also just had a question. There was a tree that went down in that small forest that's to the right of the front field at the Alero Park, and it happened right before the Easter egg hunt when the kids were there and stuff. Were you guys aware of that tree that came down? It came down right on the road that goes to the back of the park and curled around to where the shack is. And, no one really addressed it. Myself and another gentleman from the Little League, we got a chainsaw out and cut it up and moved it. But, there's a lot of trees back there that are really unstable. And I think it's unsafe, so I think it's something that we need to look at. So,
Well, that's something that was discussed before that Kat brought up, where Joe May was going into that park to take out those trees. That's something that's already been discussed. I wasn't aware of the tree coming down.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody was made aware of it. That might help accelerate things, but
Oh, yeah,
I want to make sure the Environmental Commission's involved in that. But I know that that's something that Joe May has discussed for a while, getting in there and cleaning out dead trees. And I'm fairly certain he's already marked quite a few to come down, right?
Yes, we had an arborist in there late last year and had marked up that area. And we were made aware of the tree that fell and had removed.
Yeah, so they had colors on them, a lot of them. Just a lot of them are topping. So.
But thanks for coming out and telling us about that.
Yeah, I didn't know that it was already being discussed, but thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak? Seeing no hands, I need a motion to close the public comments.
Make that motion?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Does anyone else have a comment or like to say anything up here before we adjourn?
Yeah, just real briefly, when we were talking about the community block grants, I neglected to mention, those are on the May 11th meeting and the 27th of April and May 11th. But if you need an interpreter for sign language, please contact the folks in Borough Hall, and one will be made available.
Anyone else have anything? No? Need a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Jimmy, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'd just like to remind you, I'm sorry, before we leave, don't forget, April 27 p.m., special meeting.
We won't take any action at that meeting, right?
No.
It's just to discuss.
If we do come to consensus, we can do it the following meeting, all right?
Yeah.